How's it going, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to our Tuesday Instagram Live. We're going to have JoshuaBlu's on today, and he's going to talk about what it is to be a Kokopelli ambassador, what it is to be a product tester, and some safety tips for pack rafting in the Oregon area. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in again. Some announcements. Check our website. Our 2020 lineup is online and ready to go. We're out here touring right now, testing boats, especially in windy conditions in Hood River and in Lake Union and in Seattle this morning. Some of the stuff we're doing, we're just reaching out to our dealers and some future customers along the way and helping them out on this tour. I want to bring Josh on now and jump right into it. He's going to have a lot of the best info about pack rafting in Oregon. Hey Josh, what's up, man?
Hey, how we doing, brother?
Not bad. Sitting here from the side of the road trying to get some power and do this interview. But thanks so much for joining us today.
No worries. I'm happy to.
Right on. So if those of you guys don't know, Josh, tell us all about where you're from, how you got to where you were. Josh is a Kokopelli affiliate, product tester on the whitewater side, and general badass. And we brought him on today to tell you guys all about what he does. So go for it, man.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Basically, I live in Grants Pass, Oregon, Southern Oregon, and we're lucky enough to have the Rogue River that actually splits our town right in half. So it is very much the gem of this area, and all locals flock to the river. I've been lucky enough to grow up right next to it, as well as the Illinois, Chetco. I have all of these just wonderful rivers right next to me. Umpqua, they're just, endless. So
right
all
on.
kinds of whitewater possibilities. Yeah.
Oh, so how did you get into paddling, and how long have you actually been into pack rafting specifically?
So, I've been paddling for a while. I originally started in just a classic Kevlar Tahiti, just those orange old school ones that would pop every summer. You bought a new one. It was just how it was.
Yeah.
But it was portable. It was something that I could blow up by mouth. I didn't need any kind of experience. It was a very stable boat. And it was easy. You didn't need a trailer or anything. It was easy to throw it into a trunk with you and your buddies, and you could just send it down at any point in time. So I've been doing that since I was a teenager. My wife and I actually were married in a park right next to the river, and jumped in my Tahiti, wedding dress and all, and full, sent it down the river, just married, cans floating behind us, the whole thing. So I've just been, I love whitewater. I've been guiding for a while now. I'm going to come up on my second year with Morrison's, who is the largest outfitter on the Rogue River. But as far as pack rafting, I'm like 6 months deep into that. So I have a lot of whitewater experience, but as far as paddling a pack raft, I'm very new to that. I love that, because that allows me to let people know that anybody can do this. Like, you just got to get out there. You just got to get out there. The learning curve is not that steep.
No, it's funny because I'm actually on a tour right now talking to a lot of our dealers who, at the retail side, who I'm going around telling them, all right, so this is what the pack raft is, and this is how you use it, and telling them how to kind of express that to customers and sell through to them and make it easier for them. If you're a fisherman, a hunter, depending on where you're at in the country, there's use for a pack raft for you in just about every application.
Exactly.
So, now that you are testing pack rafts for us, so tell us about your background in the manufacturing and what got you interested in the process, and why did you reach out to us to become a tester?
So I was always been interested in pack rafts, just in general. But my interest came from a hiking background. I had been an ultralight hiker for a while, and just wanted to. My original interest was just to extend my hiking adventures, to just do a little bit more. I never really considered them a real whitewater boat until I got one. But how I really got started with it is I got started with Sotar, who is a commercial grade whitewater manufacturer that any river guide knows about. They're the lightest boat on the market, commercial grade. And they're just, I got to experience a lot from the manufacturing side there. I got to work in the repair department. So I got to see the entire gamut of boats that would come in, from a 20 to 30-year-old boat to a 2-year-old boat, and just got to see all the different damages that they would take, and got to see the evolution of manufacturing processes through, on boats and with boats, and just the different geometries, how they're shaped and everything. So SOTAR really taught me a lot. I was able to learn a lot there about the manufacturing, the technicality side of fabrics as well. And that's what kind of started was Zach and I's conversation, talking about the technicality of fabrics, PVC, urethane, TPU, just going over the different ones, the different strengths, but the plus and minuses between nylon, polyester. SOTAR just began integrating Kevlar into a new fabric that they've been developing. So it was really fun to just geek out for a bit, with Zach, about just the technicality of boating that not a lot of people really get into very often. So
yeah, if you guys don't know, we actually send a lot of messages to each other on the testing side of things. I'm always I do more of the adventure stuff, the adventure series testing for the Kokopelli line. Zach handles all the whitewater. But between us three in this triangle that we have conversations, it's like I'm adding elements of Josh between the adventure series, Zach's talking about whitewater, and between us three, we're getting a lot of good content that kind of crosses over in the middle ground.
Yeah.
So it's funny, the conversations you start having with our affiliates or ambassadors based on technology, improvements on the products, even small things like the floor. We had a conversation the other day on a boat.
Yeah.
Josh was testing about the floor, how much, how a centimeter, how making the floor just a little bit tighter makes such a difference in placement.
It really does.
The reason why we're actually doing the show with Josh too is since he's an ambassador, this opens a light for everyone to kind of reach out to us and say, hey, I'm working on next project. I'm a water scientist. I'm a Navy SEAL. I'm, just a hydrologist that works for the Forest Service or a Forest Service ranger that does backcountry patrols. We want to reach out. We want you guys to reach out to us and let us know what you're doing and how we can improve pack rafts to fit into your world. So Josh helps us a lot with this in the whitewater world. Are you starting to guide in the next 2 or 3 years in your area?
Yeah, well, I mean, I
For
guide right now, but I guide
pack raft specific.
packraft specific. I was actually currently working with my outfitter. We were really wanting to do a packraft program right now, but with the COVID and all of that, it kind of fell by the wayside. We had a lot of cancellations this summer because of everything, but last month was a really good month. A lot of everything's starting to open back up now. I think the fear is starting to diminish and people are starting to rebook. So I don't think that we will have a program up and running this summer, but we definitely are looking into that. It's something that we want to expand a lot more. Packrafting it's coming. It's coming. It's up and coming, and anybody could do it. And I like the fact that it is so appealing. Too often, with boating and rafting in general, these are such big items. The raft is huge. You're going to need a trailer. You need all this other stuff. And that doesn't really appeal to somebody in an urban setting, that lives in an apartment or something. With a pack raft, you can do that. I've taken my pack raft down every bit of water that all of my rafting buddies have. And I get to play around it in rapids way more than they do. They're pushing through, and I'm playing around, catching little eddies and surfs. I love the pack raft, and I think that the spectrum of people that it can service is much, much wider than just a general raft.
Gotcha.
And that's why I want to champion it. I want to get everybody on the water.
Let everyone know what your Instagram is, so if they do want to check you out after the interview, they could see what kind of testing you're doing. In terms of whitewater, Josh has some of the coolest content on the packraft website. So check him out, man.
Yeah, my Instagram is JoshuaBlu's 7. I would love for you guys to check out my videos. I got some good waterfall drops on there, other different rapids I've run. And also, I am 100% available for anybody that wants to DM me with any questions about different, safety setups, skills testing, skills, things to work on, just skills drills that you want to do, anything like that. My main goal, my number one goal, is to grow the pack rafting community. I am so in love with this little craft, this little boat, and what it's capable of. I'm constantly shocked by it, and I want everybody to get into a pack raft. It's such a small dollar amount to get it started, to get invested in it, and just to get out there. So if you ever have any questions, please DM me. I would love to help you out. And yeah, anything paddle size, how you have a setup, a specific safety question, thigh straps, any gear that I use from a dry suit, insulation, booties, everything, please hit me up. I would love to grow this community and share my knowledge.
So Josh is an ambassador for us and product tester so Josh came from the industry, already in the inflatables industry. Tell us what someone that doesn't have a background like you, if they want to add value as an ambassador for, let's say, a pack rafting brand like ours, what would be the best reach? What would be the best approach that you use to go after potential brands and customers?
Well, honestly,
I guess how do you approach them and say, this is how I have a plan to add value to your R&D section of a company?
I guess my main thing is that I push the limit of what any product is intended to do. I like to look at how it's engineered, how it, form follows function. I definitely break it down on how something works. I recently worked with a chair manufacturer, a camping chair manufacturer, and kind of gave him a review, gave some pointers on how I would redesign it, materials, things like that. I just to get involved, I guess it's kind of hard unless you have a background in outdoor equipment. It's hard to, give a review on something if you don't have an outdoor, background. As far as getting started with doing reviews, you should know what you're doing and what aspects you're looking for. And what you don't want also. That's a very big thing. And something else I like to stress to people is that there's not exactly the best product always. There's the best product for that situation. They're like
there's no quiver killer. You need all the birds.
Yes, I wanted the fullest quiver possible. I know Zach had some hesitation when I first contacted him because I was an athlete for SOTAR to begin with. And so he kind of thought that I was like a spy at first, and I would explain to him, I was like, dude, I want to increase my quiver. I want a different style boat. I want to learn how to boat with this one. I want to increase my knowledge and my skill set in every different craft. And that has also helped me gain my knowledge basis with different disciplines and being able to apply those to different products. And, this is good from rock climbing. It'd be cool if I could bring that idea over here into pack rafting. So I've been able to do a lot of different outdoor disciplines and pull knowledge from each of those to come up with something that might be just, specific.
So wear a lot of hats. So let's say you're a paraglider, and this actually exists now. If you're a paraglider, speed flyer, something like that where, you're watching this video now and you're saying, hey, well, I'm doing cross-country vol-bib paragliding. I know I'm crossing a range. I'm going 40, 50 miles, and if I land it my last day, I could float back on that pack raft. We want to I'm sorry about that, guys. We want to talk to people like that, and this is what we're talking about. Being a pack rafting, you have to be a multi-sport athlete if you want to be a good tester, I think. And it just draws everything together. As we grow pack rafting into the climbing community, think of all the climbers that, if you're a Moab specifically, that there's sandstone walls that have never been climbed from the water. You couldn't do that on a TPU boat because it's hard to belay off the water. But now with PVC, an XPD or Recon, you can get right up on there, or even a Moki series, and you won't have to worry about a boat shredding on sandstone or things like that. But so every person that we're looking for to be an affiliate, to have a voice to help us grow pack rafting, everyone's skill set's valuable here. So if you have something cool, you're a Forest Service ranger patrolling some section of river that really the only way to do this is by pack raft. We want to hear from you. So you don't have to be an expert, really an expert paddler or anything. Just be an expert at your own craft. Bring it to us and let us help you develop how does that fit into your world. I mean, right now we're working with propulsion systems, e-batteries, all the different types of, like boost jets, stuff like that we're starting to work on that. It's not traditional pack rafting, but our job as a brand is to help grow this to the next level. Look at the next accessory that's going to make a difference. Maybe not to what you're doing, but there's an outlet for it. Yeah. So if you could go on any dream trip right now, what would it be, Josh?
My dream trip, well, it would be the Grand Canyon. I would just love to do that. That's big water, and I would love to take a pack raft down that. I know that a lot of people have already done it, but I really want to do that. My dream trip was the Chetco River, and I was able to do that one, which was an amazing trip. At least for pack rafting. I also were looking at taking one of the prototype Sotar boats. It's an ultralight boat made out of pack rafting material that we want to hike into the Chetco River.
Oh, wow.
Because it hasn't been actually rafted yet. It's only been pack rafted or IK, the inflatable kayak, those Tahiti style boats. So
Gotcha.
we're super interested in trying to claim a first descent on the Chetco River with that ultralight boat. So it's a toss up. It's definitely a toss up. There's too many rivers. How can you pick just one? They're all great. Every
Yeah,
one
I
of them has
know.
got a different thing that it just grabs you.
Yeah, I'm like the drive from Denver to Seattle. I just got to Seattle last night.
Yeah.
But every river you see along the way, you go through Montana, Wyoming,
Yes.
Idaho, the Boot, and it's just like you're looking over your shoulder the whole time outside at all the
And
different
that's another thing that's
rivers.
super cool about the packraft is that it's right in your car. You can just
Hmm.
pull that thing out anytime you see a little rapid and just get right down there and just run it. Do a couple of laps on that. They blow up super fast with that feather pump. I mean, they're quick. You can inflate it, run your rapid, deflate it, get back in your car, and go. I love how versatile, portable, and capable these things are. These boats are awesome, man, for real.
If you could have any advice for a future affiliate or would-be ambassador, potential ambassador, what would
Yeah.
that be? Top piece of advice to get someone into this game.
Top piece of advice is going to be adding value, adding value to the brand as a whole, and growing the community. Find out, like, if you follow any of the affiliates or ambassadors for Kokopelli, like, you guys have a very wide range of people doing all different kinds of things. I don't really do high alpine lakes. Like, since I've gotten into whitewater, heavier into whitewater, that's more what I focus on now. So if somebody's more of a hiker and they want to do more alpine lake style, like, get up there and do that. Like what you're saying with Forest Service, whatever. Like,
Yeah,
show us
that's
how
one of
you're
the biggest.
extending the journey.
That's actually like for the average person, let's say the scale of progression in your pack rafting career, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
But, let's say in Denver in the Front Range, this is where he's going with it. You first buy, if you're a first time pack rafter, you buy your boat, you go on a reservoir, you go on something easy, get a good feel for it. After a week or two, you want to scale that up. 18 miles, you're at the Indian Peaks, and there's probably like 20, 30 high alpine lakes right
Hmm.
2-3 miles from parking. So this could be in the Cascades, this could be in the Sierras, anywhere in
Yeah.
Montana where this same thing exists. So your next progression is going to be in alpine lakes, and it's easy to get to. And every time you show up to an alpine lake with a pack raft and inflate it, nowadays it's super busy. On a good Saturday, there'll be 1,000 people there, but the entire crowd wants a pack raft after that. They're going to ask you questions.
Yeah.
So it could just make a basic walk way, way better. But that's very much in reach for a lot of people. And so
Hmm.
do submit photos. If you do buy your first pack raft and you think you got something interesting on alpine lakes and you can tell a good story, share that with us. We want to know. We want to know your experience. We want to know how the boat performed. We want to know how we could get better as a brand every time.
Yeah. Well, and you guys are totally improved. The prototype that I have from you is awesome. That front end is so much better for whitewater. Well, I don't know if I want to give away some what you've done, but the front end is awesome. Like, I love how it's been redesigned. It's definitely more whitewater worthy. It handles much bigger water better for sure.
It surfs better. That boat, I wish I
Yes.
had it. I was in Missoula surfing the wave, trying to surf that wave
Yeah.
with the Recon and Nirvana, but it's so steep that by
Mhm.
the you get into it, you're like in
Well,
the front
it
third of
fills
the
your front
boat.
end and just dips you straight down. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
they're.
got to really get the rodeo down. But
Hmm.
the new boat he's talking about that we're working on, once we dial it in, you guys are going to really, really like it.
It's a solid boat. It
There's
really
no whitewater
is.
boat like it that we've tested. Zach did a really good job on it. But if you have, let's talk about some safety really quick.
Yeah,
In your
for sure.
specific area, what do you have? If someone's going pack rafting around
Yeah.
your area,
Mhm.
what do you recommend? Who can they reach out to, and what's the number one safety hazard you're looking at?
Well, the Rogue River is actually very well used. The upper section, the recreational section, is used often. And it's a river or a section of the river that I like to take people on. If anybody's ever going to be contacting me to do any kind of skills drills with them, take them on something like that, that's the section that we will be doing. because it's the Rogue River is a pool and drop river. So there's a big rapid and then a nice long flat recovery pool afterwards. So it's a nice mix for you to paddle in flat water if you're used to alpine lakes or just something like that. But there's also a lot of class 2 rapids for you to just kind of grow a little bit and get used to that. The number one thing I recommend though for pack rafters, at least for a self bailer, is self rescue in general. You will come out of your boat. If you're not coming out of your boat, you're not having enough fun. You should be pushing it a little bit more. You're going to come out of your boat. That's part of it. But being able to get right back into the boat is extremely important. A lot of people think that their PFD or personal flotation device, life jacket, is their number one life-saving tool. But it's not. It's the boat. It's much bigger. It has much more buoyancy. The boat is your number one, life tool.
And the 6 inches between your ears, it starts there. So know the skill set before you're getting in the boat.
Know the
skills. Be in that position.
And I recommend I highly recommend practicing your self-rescue techniques over and over and over, getting those down. Because once you have that skill set down, your confidence level will just grow. And then you're going to feel more confident in trying, I'm going to push this class 3 a little bit more. Let me see if I can surf this wave. Because you've already eliminated the fear of swimming. You won't panic, because panicking is the worst thing. When you panic, you don't think, you stop moving, you stop acting. So getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, and so that way when that happens, you know exactly what to expect. You're like, oh, no problem, hop back in the boat. It's not a big deal. You won't freeze up, you won't panic. So I highly, highly recommend practicing your self-rescue techniques before you're going to be going out into doing any kind of whitewater. And more than that, if you're going to be playing in any kind of, whitewater or, marine setting, anything like that, I really recommend taking some kind of swift water course. The things that they teach you in those are amazing. Learning to read the water, just the different rope techniques, high angle, technical rope rescue. They teach you so many things that are just, you need to learn those techniques for sure.
Yeah, and if, just the small things like mechanical advantage. If you don't know how to rig that, like most people with a mechanical advantage, they think, oh, the time of it, I'm going to rig this thing out of the blue after I haven't practicing it at all.
Exactly.
If you have it ready to go, and this should be second nature. 3 to 1 shouldn't be anything to you.
Exactly.
But what he's saying too is a pretty good subject, because as pack rafting grows, we evolve into new markets. Now we're playing really heavily in the marine market, the yachting and sailing world. And I go to Miami back home a lot to test sail designs and get stuck in the bay. Even today, where I was in Lake Union, Seattle, I was paddling through kind of like a houseboat neighborhood to get to the open bay. And then I popped the wind up sail, went for a pretty decent downwinder. But the thing is, that's a new style of pack rafting, open water, big open water. Yeah. And if you're just a whitewater guy and saying, well, I could do that pretty easily, I don't have to practice that, you're probably wrong, because when you're out in the middle of the water like that and it goes wrong, it gets really choppy, water's coming in the boat, good chance you could fall out. I've been in Biscayne Bay where you're in big swells and you almost come out, and if you don't have a leash attached to your boat, in that situation, you could be out of sight,
Yeah, I've never actually paddled it in saltwater. I've never been in the ocean, but it's definitely on my list of things to do, for sure.
But the point is, you have to have each one. If you're going to go out in open bays, jump out of the boat. Just like when you're learning how to climb, take a few falls. Don't be afraid to fall and look funny or look dumb. Failure here, as long as it's a safe failure, getting in and out of that boat in every different condition that you can is going to really help your pack rafting lifestyle, and it's going to help your body, because it's going to keep you safe.
It's going to keep you safe, and it also keeps your team safe, because you should never be boating alone, and being able to self-rescue on your own, it doesn't put that on anybody else in your group or your team, with you.
Gotcha.
So being able to self-rescue, maybe 2 people go over, you're able to self-rescue faster than them. Now you are the rescuer, it's just being able to self-rescue is very important.
Yeah, and everything. If you're not confident in yourself doing any of this, and this also starts with fitness. Alex, our marketing director, if you look on our website, she wrote a really good article on pack raft and fitness, and I do advise everyone to read it, because it's super important. This is it could be a solo man's game as well. If you're not doing big rivers, if you're doing the adventure side of things, and if you do go in, you have to be in shape to pack raft, to do expeditions and do adventures, because it's very much a light.
It's all good.
Hey, man, thanks so much for joining us. If you
No
could,
worries.
if you could tell everyone where they could reach you at and send you any kind of information about pack rafting in your area, or pack rafting questions, safety
Yeah.
questions, and how to be an ambassador, where can they find you?
So I'm in Grants Pass, Oregon. If you guys are ever traveling through, I would hit me up. Please DM me. I would love to take you out on our section of river. My Instagram is JoshuaBlu's7. If you want to reach out, please check out my content. I love it when people tag me in their adventures too. I love that. I like seeing what everybody else is doing. You know, I'm not the only one growing this community. You know, it takes a community to grow a community, and I love being part of it. I love being part of it. So yeah, please reach out to me, guys, and let's do it. Let's send some whitewater for sure.
Right on, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Josh. If you have any info for the Kokopelli side, do hit us up at info@kokopellipackraft.com. My name's Andrew. Thanks again for joining us. This is Josh. We're signing out. We'll see you guys on Thursday. We're going to be talking about our fleet dealers and regular traditional Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking with Barnabas Young out of New Zealand this week. So another ambassador tester. This
Oh,
week's
right on, dude.
big
He's
focus
good.
on. Yeah, man, he's got the
Yeah, he's
best
good.
videos on.
Yeah.
So good week of just ambassadors and tester conversations. Join us on Thursday, 12 Mountain Time, and thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. You have a good one.